It is bracket season, and that includes in the White House. ESPN's Andy Katz spent some time yesterday with President Obama filling out his rounds of 64. Take a look.
Kansas against Purdue.
I think Kansas keeps on winning.
Pitt against Florida in the Southeast.
And on this one, I think Pitt's going to win. And as much as I love North Carolina, as much as I love Roy Williams, I think Ohio State's got the talent this year.
All right, Duke against Connecticut.
I'm going to pick Duke.
He picks Duke, and there's a happy Reggie Love somewhere else in the White House. We're joined now by Karen Travers, our resident expert on all things politics and basketball. Karen, I know you know the bracket better than anyone.
We've been studying it for 3 days now. We're ready to go. We want to talk to the expert, Andy Katz from ESPN, who's joining us from the headquarters up there in Bristol. Andy, you sat down with the president yesterday. This is something that we have been waiting for, to hear these presidential picks, and they're really safe picks. 4 #1 seeds in the Final Four. Where is this big agenda that people expect from President Obama?
Very conservative, believe it or not. He actually went all chalk in the Final Four. It's only happened one other time in the history of the tournament. That was in 2008. And as President Obama said, this is the first time that he's ever done it. But even in the early rounds, he went chalk for the most part. Now, there were some double-digit seeds that he has, winning like Richmond is at 12. But all these teams, I mean, are still, I mean, they've won something significant. Richmond won the Atlantic 10. So they're not teams sort of out of the mainstream, out of the Power 8 conferences, if you will. I mean, even Gonzaga's a double-digit seed, but everyone knows Gonzaga. So there were no Belmont picks. There were no Woffords.
Right.
Nothing sort of crazy. It was all very conservative, if you will.
And no double-digit peaks even make it into the second round. Andy, it does seem like a little bit of March meekness out of the president. And I wonder if you get a sense. This is a guy, I mean, no one was a bigger underdog than Barack Obama to become president. Is your sense that he just knows these guys and knows these teams so well that it's hard for him to think underdog because he knows how talented some of the big school teams are?
Yeah, I would agree with that. And to be honest, the way the bracket sort of was put together, it's kind of hard to project a number of teams to advance far. I mean, personally, I only looked at maybe the Belmont-Wisconsin game or Utah State, Kansas State. They just weren't matched up as well as they have been in the past. Now, maybe we'll all be wrong, but, you know, he even said to me, he said, I looked for Pittsburgh to sort of get knocked off in the Southeast. I just did not see a team that could do it. And, you know, they probably have the weakest of the twos in their bracket in Florida.
Andy, we love when sports and politics can come together, our two favorite topics.
Yes,
the political aspect of some of these picks. Ohio State in the final, but losing to Kansas. 2012 is quickly approaching. Ohio is going to be a critical battleground state. He could have had Pitt as well going to the final. What do you think about that? Perhaps going with his basketball gut over his political instinct.
Well, I mean, he did have both of them advancing to the Final Four. The one thing I would challenge is how many people actually knew that John Boehner, the Speaker of the House, was a Xavier grad. And I don't know if many people do know that, and he had Xavier bounced out in the first round. Now, I did sort of throw a little political jab at him that he had Louisville losing in the Sweet 16. Obviously, Senator McConnell, the minority leader, is a huge Louisville backer. A lot of people would think because he's a senator for Kentucky that he backs Kentucky. He's actually a big Louisville guy. But he quickly dismissed me when I was saying, was there any trying to be you know, sort of bipartisanship by advancing Louisville a couple of rounds, and no, had nothing to do with it, he told me.
He definitely gave a little run. And for our local favorites here, he has Princeton losing in the first round. No fan of Ivy basketball, despite his wife's alma mater there. Kentucky, he has winning.
Well,
and Georgetown,
he
has
making for Princeton. That's a bad matchup going against Kentucky.
Yeah.
It's a tough. They're a very strong 4 seed in Kentucky, and Georgetown, he has him winning a game, which, you know, some people don't even give him that much, but not much more than that, Andy.
No, I mean, bottom line is you don't know what's going to happen with Chris Wright. He's expected to play, but without seeing him, and Georgetown's been going in the wrong direction, as Karen knows. I actually think that if USC beats VCU, USC could potentially knock off Georgetown. So there isn't good karma right now for Georgetown unless Chris Wright comes back and is playing the way he did in previous games.
All right, we love it. Bracket season
crossed.
every year. Andy Katz from ESPN, thanks for being there. Thanks for coming to the White House yesterday and getting those picks down on record. We appreciate it.
Well, thank you.
Twitter.com/Rick Klein. That's right. Twitter.com/Rick Klein. Twitter.com/.